Within 3, 4, 5 months, I had 4 clients and had sold $38,000.
What would 4 clients have made you pre-Golden Mike?
Less than 10 grand. And I knew I had multiple 6-figure, 7-figure skill sets, but not how to organize them in a way that was exciting and interesting and had the ROI that made it worth it to me.
That's a good observation.
I know I can raise the bar and raise the standard for Airbnb, but how do I execute that in a way that fits the parameters of my lifestyle? And so with Golden Mike, I realized that you knew how to organize things in a way that fit my time parameters. I knew that a podcast was gonna not only help me create the business that I want, but also help me level up in personal skill sets that I knew I was lacking in. The noise in my head went away. The questioning, the lack of confidence that I knew this was the right direction, that completely went away. The second that I joined the program, I was like, yeah, this is it, 100%.
Wow, I'm sure it's still pretty busy out there.
Yes, but that piece was taking up more space mentally than I realized. And so when it went away, I had more space to think about the things that actually moves the needle. When I started the business, I wasn't praying for money. I was praying to meet the people that could help me hit my goals.
Would you say your life changed?
100%.
Welcome back to the Golden Mike. I am here with Andrea Befus. Welcome back to the Golden Mike, everybody. Today, I am here with Andrea Befus, who is actually a client of mine, but I've known her for a while. And I wanted to bring her on because for those of you that may be wondering more about what the process of what we teach looks like and kind of the transformation that happens, Andrea has an awesome story. And I think it's one that a lot of people can relate to, and also one that's unique at the same time. And she has been someone that has been able to come in, execute exactly the process of exactly what's been laid out. And it's almost like if you wanted to see what it would look like if you just did everything and didn't get in your own way and like didn't try to complicate the thing, it's like Andrea's the example of that. So I'm really excited to sit down with her. We're going to talk kind of through her journey of not only inside of or using Golden Mike, but also what she's working on doing and kind of the big picture. Because if you're in that place where you know you're called for more and you have a vision and maybe you've tried some things and they haven't worked out, or maybe they have, but not like you expected. And you're trying to put all the things together and you're like, okay, I just want to like get paid now and like actually move the ball forward. That's Andrea. At least I think, right? Andrea,
Yes.
welcome to the show. Is that accurate?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course. Yeah. Tell everyone, who are you, Andrea? Okay. That's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Give us a little background. Andrea, thank you for coming on the show, but give us a little bit of background of who you are, what you do.
So my name's Andrea Befus. I'm in the STR Airbnb space, and I grew up all over the world. And I love travel, love people, and my brain does really interesting things where my brain works in spreadsheets and pros and cons lists, but I also love people and solving really complicated problems. And so I have lived this life of doing things differently because we move so much all around the world. I really wanted to continue that in the different phases of my life. And so this most recent season has been really interesting of trying to fit all of the puzzle pieces of my skill sets together. And it's been a crazy journey.
That's interesting. So, oh man, there's so many different routes we could go there. The travel thing, real quick. When did you start traveling?
So I was born in Tokyo, and I've lived in Chicago, Boston, Virginia, Istanbul, Albania, Utah, Kentucky.
Okay, so when you say travel, you mean literally travel, move around, and like literally live in different places all over.
Live in different places, plus over 30 countries traveling on top of that.
Okay, crazy. Yeah. So when you said it's like I'm trying to fit the puzzle pieces all together, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people can probably relate to that, right?
Yep.
You know, it feels like you got a million things going on in your head. What does that, like, what puzzle pieces are you working with? Give us a picture of, let's say, rewind, I don't know, a couple years ago, let's say, right?
Okay.
And go, where were you at? What skill sets what were you trying to figure out? What did that picture look like? Because you've been able to do some pretty incredible things, I mean, throughout your life, but also recently, particularly in the business. I want people to have an understanding of what you were dealing with and see if they can relate to that.
Yeah. So when I say puzzle pieces, I mean skill sets, hobbies, passions, how do they all fit together? So I went to college for mapping and data analytics, geographic information systems, and that's a whole story. But that was one puzzle piece of turning really complicated problems into a visual element that a decision maker could make a decision because they don't understand a spreadsheet. I do. I know how to transform it and turn it into something simple that someone else can make a decision that they need to make. So that was one puzzle piece. Another puzzle piece was working for Katie Richardson for 2 years as her kind of right-hand man and being involved with her marketing, sales, inside her programs, social media, like really marketing focused. And then a personal element of hospitality. I love to cook. I love to create experiences for people. and have people over in my home, make meaningful memories, and also just traveling the world and doing really unique, different things and
Yeah.
standing out in a way that, how do I say this? That's not, look at me, look at everything that I'm doing, I'm awesome, but is like, I genuinely love living kind of a crazy life.
Yeah.
And so those are all these different pieces: mapping, marketing, hospitality,
Yeah.
people skills, all
Yeah.
of that. And so when I heard about Golden Mike, I had figured out how all of these kind of fit because I discovered the Airbnb world and STR world, and that honestly perfectly matched everything. But when I put the puzzle pieces together, I actually didn't know what the image was. They started fitting
interesting.
together, but I didn't know where am I going. I had my goals. I knew how the puzzle pieces fit, but I didn't know the path to get there.
Okay. And you're married.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And you have a kid.
Yep.
Yep. A daughter.
Yep.
So that's also kind of an element that
Oh, for sure.
a slight puzzle piece,
I would look at that as parameters, not a puzzle piece.
Oh, I like that lens. That's good. Okay. So then when you say you saw how the pieces fit together, but you didn't know where you were going, what does that mean? Right. Because it's like, I was almost like you could see how they link, but didn't have it, like didn't know the picture or like what? Like, yeah.
Okay. So, for example, in Airbnb world, when you get a new property, there's a ton of data that goes into that. You have to look at locations, the data of competition. There's so much data, and you have to be able to sort through that.
Yep.
Also, hospitality-wise, it's traveling experiences. You have to stand out from a guest perspective.
Got it.
Also, marketing. I think I just have a marketing brain, and so I think everything in the world is marketing and sales.
Yeah.
And so everything in an Airbnb listing or a home, from furnishings to your listing to the messaging, everything is marketing.
Yep.
And so when all of those came together, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm perfect for this because I have all of these different skills and this industry fits it all together.
Got it.
But when I saw my place in this new industry, because let's be real, it was a new industry.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I have these skills. I know I can raise the bar and raise the standard for Airbnb, but what does that actually look like? And how do I execute that in a way that fits the parameters of my lifestyle?
Got it. Okay. So you had a bunch of skills,
Yes.
right? Like, as I think many people probably do. Right?
Yes.
And it's like, I need a thing that all these things plug into where I can utilize them all or most of them, right? In a way that is like, I don't feel like I have to sacrifice or like not do these other things. Like I get to do what I like doing, and you found that thing, right?
Yes.
Airbnb. But then you're like, cool. Now what?
Now what?
Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Right? What type of business do I build and all that? So what were the frustrations? What was it like trying to figure that out? Like, where did you feel stuck? What did you try? Like, kind of walk us through like I don't want to say the pain, but kind of, right? Yeah. Cause it's like, life is super exciting, but also it's like really painful. And that's usually where the most growth happens, or maybe always, right? But like, what was that pain and frustration?
So the pain and frustration came pretty quickly when I joined an Airbnb education program of, okay, I have all these skills. I know this is the industry, but I need to know the lingo. What are people talking about? What are the specifics of Airbnbs? Who are the leaders? I need to orient myself in this industry. And when I joined this program, it was amazing. And there were huge gaps in it as well. And I thought, okay, this program teaches a system for Airbnb that actually doesn't fit my parameters. And there was huge frustration there that I was in a program that I respected. I really liked everyone in there. And at the same time, it didn't fit the parameters for my life. One of the hugest parameters I had was I only am on my laptop when my daughter's asleep. And I joined it when she was 9 months old on extremely unpredictable nap time. So I would have 20, 30 minutes at a time, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. And then when she went to sleep, by the end of the day, I'm exhausted.
Right.
I'm the primary caregiver, which I love. And I want that to stay like that. And so when she finally switched from crazy unpredictable naps to one nap of about 2 hours, I'd have 2 hours on my laptop and maybe an hour or two at night. But the things I was learning, these programs and even past programs on how to build a business, they didn't fit that parameter. If I can only be on my laptop 3 or 4 hours a day, everything required more than that.
That makes sense. Okay. That's interesting, because I think now that you say that, I'm like, I actually think I've met a lot of people that way.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever labeled that. I'm also a guy, right?
Yeah.
And like, my wife is the primary giver and she works, but she's even said those same things.
Interesting.
Right. And like, some of the people that, some of our clients, like Sarah, Allred, and like she'll say that she's like, when it's kids time, it's kids time.
Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting that Golden Mike has just started to fit that bill for a lot of people. Right.
And I think it doesn't have to be just for women either.
No, 100%.
Because
No, I understand.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying like, I wake up and I work. Right. And I
Right.
but I'm like, that's also, there's downsides to that.
Yeah. Which was a hard shift for me to make because pre-kid, that's what I would do. I would wake up and I would work. But now I have this, I don't want to call my daughter a parameter because that sounds wrong. But
it's a chosen, we say constraint like it's a bad thing.
But it's
like,
not.
It's not, right?
Yeah.
Marriage, constraint.
Yeah. But in a good way.
Best constraint ever.
Right?
Yes. Exactly. Right. I'm like, I will happily take the constraints of, the things you can't do while you're married over, not being married. Right.
Agreed.
Same thing with kids. Right. Yeah. It's like, you probably can't go, party in Vegas all the time if you have kids. And I'm like, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't even like doing that anyway. So.
Right. Examples though. Right.
Yeah.
So, from a business perspective lens, because I think a lot of people that listen to this are in a place where it's like one of three main areas. One is, okay, I have a business and I'm at, 6 figures or multi 6 figures. I'm trying to go to 7. I've got momentum and I've got clarity, or I've got momentum in there. I've got this thing that's working. It's like, how do I kind of systemize and scale? That's one. Bucket number 2 is I've got this thing, this skill set that I know that I am good at. And I know it's here, but what do I do with it? Right.
Mm-hmm.
To make money and not just like a couple grand here and there. Right. Cause I think that if you've been around the place industry for a little bit, it's like you can make a couple grand here and there, but it's like, that that's not a business yet.
Right.
Right. But you want it to be. And then the third is, I know I'm skilled somewhere, some way, not exactly sure what that is yet. Entrepreneurship is in my future, maybe is even closer rather than, but I'm not quite sure what the skill set is yet. And I got to go figure that out.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're in bucket 2.
Bucket 2 is completely accurate.
Yeah. Okay. So in that, what was the frustrating thing about, like, did you not have a plan, like a model to follow that was like, hey, I don't know how to turn this thing into monetization, or did you have one, but it wasn't the actual, not just the program, but the actual business model itself? Does that make sense?
Yes. Do you mean for Golden Mike?
No, I just
mean in general.
In general, what did you lack? What was frustrating? Like, what were you like? I want to put my head through a wall because I can't figure this stupid thing out.
Yes. Okay. This is a really good question because I think it kind of ties into some previous, you could say businesses, but I had started coaching businesses in the past using my passions for cooking and family dinner and all of that. And those were great, but I would sell them for only a couple $1,000s. And so I knew that worked, but that wasn't interesting to me because if I was going to be putting my very precious nap time of my daughter, where I could probably take a nap, but like, I'm not a napper though. I'm like a very go productive person. But if I'm going to be putting a lot of mental energy into this, I need a higher ROI. So there was major frustration in what I was being taught in a program for this is how you do Airbnb and be successful. The numbers were just too low. It just wasn't interesting to me. And I knew I had multiple 6-figure, 7-figure skill sets, but not how to organize them in a way that was exciting and interesting and had the ROI that made it worth it to me.
Got it. Okay. That's really good. That's a good observation. It's like any business model that you looked at did not give you the ROI of your time that you wanted for it from a dollar's perspective. It's like, I might be able to hustle and make $50,000 like if I like sold my life away for all of it, but like I'd like to do 6 figures, 12 to 6, 7 figures, all that. Yeah.
Yes. And the problems I solved at the just multiple thousand, those were not interesting.
Yes.
I wanted to solve big problems for people making big decisions because that tied back into my mapping days. For example, when 2020 happened, I was put into the emergency operations center and in charge of all the COVID data for my entire county. From a mapping perspective.
Oh, so if it's all lies or
and so I have this background of like, these are really important decisions that key players are making at pivotal times, and they don't know how to look at the data in a way that helps them make the decision that they need to make. I'm not the decision maker, someone else is, and I want to help them make the best decision that they can. And those were big problems. And so I like solving big problems. And I wanted to create a business that solved big problems.
Yeah, like selling services at high ticket prices was literally made for you, right?
Yes.
Like literally, that's super, super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what ultimately led you to Golden Mike? And I mean, yes, share your discovery, obviously, because I know we've known each other for a little bit, all through business though.
Mhm.
But how did you find that? But then why? What attracted you to Golden Mike? What problem did you think that it was going to solve for you that what the other ones did not? Right?
Yeah. So ultimately, we've known each other, I think, for 5 years. I
Yeah.
joined you in your first days when you're doing Facebook groups, which was awesome.
That's crazy. That's right.
I think it's been 5 years.
That's why.
Yeah. So I'd watched you evolve over time.
Yeah.
And I was also evolving over time personally and business wise.
Yeah.
And I think I joined one of your trainings. You had
Yeah.
like a free training. And so I joined and you were talking about Golden Mike. And there were nuggets that you were saying that solved questions in my head that I didn't even know I had. Because I'm saying all of this things right now with hindsight 2020. I didn't know in the moment that this was what was happening in my brain.
Of course.
Now I know.
Yes, yes.
But you were
can kind of put words to, like, anyone that's listening that didn't know. They're like, oh my gosh, that is me. I do want to do that.
Exactly.
Or right, it's so helpful, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you were saying things in my head that I didn't know were there. And so that's what really piqued my interest. And so with Golden Mike, I realized that you knew how to organize things in a way that fit my time parameters because I knew that lifestyle is important to you. I knew that you were with your family, and I know you work hard and are productive,
Yes.
but that's not all you do.
Yeah.
And so I knew that but I knew that that was important to you. And so you would not only know how to do it, but you would respect that about my lifestyle.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Was that like one of our 4-hour workshops? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Those are fun. Those are really good.
Yeah.
If you ever want your mind to just be like, oh, what did I just go through? Like, those are good ones. So that's crazy though that you found it through Facebook group. It's been a while.
It's
That's
been a
also
long
a common
time.
denominator, I think, is that people either relate to, like, they come into our world because they've been following me for a while,
Mhm.
or they connect on values
Yes.
that are like, you said what? Right? Or like you said, like you're willing, like, you know what I mean? Like whether it's on religion and Christianity, or whether it's on, open beliefs about freedom and different things. It's like people will relate to that and be like, wait, that's different. Right.
Right.
And I think that's also what people are looking for, clearly.
Mhm.
What though, like, one of the deep beliefs that I have is that when times are tough in business, it is actually a blessing in disguise because it kind of cuts back the BS of what people are buying. And it's like, you literally actually have to figure out what people need, right? Like, you have to solve real problems for people, right? And one of the things that I believe is that people need to be able to make real life decisions, like with their actual dollars and money, based on information in that, like, I'm teaching, right? It's like they have to be able to count on it, and they have to be able to know, if I do this thing, it is going to work as it has been marketed to me, right?
Yes.
Like, and yes, it's not going to maybe not look the exact same, but it's like, if I know that I can make this much, if it's like I can sell something for this amount, and I'm going to make a decision about whether to invest in that. It's not just making a decision to invest in that. It's like, I'm going to go to do that because I want to buy a car for my family, or we want to move to this house, or I want to be able to pay off debt, or like, it's like, they really need to know that. And so when you can kind of strip back the fluff of it all, you realize that most people's stuff, like, they can say the right thing or make it feel good, but it's very difficult for them to, for people to be able to make decisions. So they end up not buying, right? Or not buying in the sense of like even giving money. It's like buying into the idea of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what about Golden Mike? Why that specifically? Give me some specifics about the method, or like what ultimately made you choose to go, this is the one, versus anyone else or anything else.
The thing that comes to mind the most is I knew Golden Mike would help me make decisions quickly and in the right direction, because I'm the type of person where Taggart and I, my husband, we move really fast. We could probably think through things more than we do, but our values and our foundation are good enough that when we see an opportunity, we just do it.
Yeah.
And thankfully that has worked out really well. We can move pretty fast in life. And I realized I didn't know how to do that in a business sense yet for my own personal stuff. From a family sense, from maybe my personal life, I knew how to do that. But in a business context, Golden Mike was going to help me make decisions quickly and efficiently to get to the target that I wanted to go to.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. We did an event recently, Eight Figure Networks, and we kind of talked about how the concept of the golden mic method is it is a people business,
Yes.
a network focused business versus an audience focused business, right? And using a golden microphone, a podcast is primarily the tool that we use to do that, although not exclusively. But for the sake of the conversation, we'll say that like using a podcast as a networking tool to build a network and to build relationships, and it gives you, I will say, multifaceted, right? It's like it has to be able to adapt and mold with you, because this microphone is an amplification of you, right? So it's like it's not different than you, really, right? It's just an amplification. It's an asset that multiplies you. It's leverage, right? So why this one versus like, why did you think that would work versus, say, the traditional course model?
Oh, I knew the course model wouldn't work because I'd seen it not work. I had tried to create a course in the past and it was too low ticket. No. So I knew that a podcast was going to not only help me create the business that I want, but also help me level up in personal skill sets that I knew I was lacking in. I knew I know I love people. I love understanding how people think. I love helping solve problems, but I'm not the best at eloquently describing that. And so when I knew that there was a golden mic, I thought, okay, not only is this going to help me have crazy high ROI in my business, but it's going to help me personally progress in my weaknesses I knew I had.
Got it. That's super interesting. And then that you recognize that too. Right, because that's really cool. We'll probably come back to that because I do have more questions, but I want to jump into, for the sake of people listening, it's like, okay, let's follow the timeline.
Okay.
You buy into the golden mic method, right? The concept and this idea of, I want to work with better clients. I want to charge lots of money for them because that's going to allow me to deliver the best result, right? And we can do it without ads. We can do it with our skills. Great, awesome. Now you start working with us. I'll ask a twofold question here. Question one. What was there any particular thing that ultimately pushed you over the edge, or like that made you work with us, besides just the fact that we're the only one that teaches this potential, like in this way? Actually, let's start there.
Yeah. I think you were the deciding factor in your confidence level and knowing that it would work for me. Because I felt like I was in a really unique situation. I thought my business is different than anybody else's.
I all think that.
I know,
We're
right?
all special snowflakes.
I know. It's like nobody
so
understands.
Yes.
No. But you understood. And I knew that. And I knew that, your extreme level of confidence, knowing that it would work, was what pushed me over the edge.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Good. So then let's fast forward and go to results. Okay. So you come in, and we'll come back to this because I do want to, I want people to kind of get an experience of it. And for those listening, the questions I'm asking Andrea, like I'm wanting to, like, I'm trying to like give you an experience, like give people of your actual life, right? Of like what was going on. And you're like, whoa. Cause like when you have those moments where, like, I hired a coach recently. I've spent like so much money on coaches. It's ridiculous, right? Like,
Same.
Like over $500,000 now. And like every time I do it, I'm like, I should have done this sooner. But at the time I was like, so much money. And then I do it and I'm like, oh, thank God I did it, right? But it's like, you get in and it's like, yes, I had a login and all that. Not right, duh, right? But then you have those moments of clarity where you're like, you get home and you're like, babe, it all makes sense, right? Like all the light bulb moments all come on, right? And then you're able to go do some pretty incredible things. Let's jump to the incredible things part.
Okay.
What were some of the results, or what are the results that you've been able to do now? And like, what does your business look like post using the golden mic method?
Yep. So to get really tangible with numbers, within 3, 4, 5 months, I had 4 clients and had sold $38,000 in contracts.
Nice. Okay. And in the Airbnb space?
Yes.
What would 4 clients have made you pre-golden mic?
Less than 10 grand.
Less than 10 grand. Okay.
Yes.
So like 4 times more money, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, probably more than that though.
Okay. Yeah, probably. Okay, cool. What other results? So you said 3 or 4 months, you said?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
What other results? What was life like afterwards?
Honestly, peaceful. Not in my world's easy, but in an internal peace that the noise in my head went away. The questioning, the lack of confidence that I knew this was the right direction, that completely went away. The second that I joined the program, within the first 10 minutes of consuming what you teach, I was like, yeah, this is it. 100%.
Got it. Okay. Wow. That was a very powerful visual. The noise in my head went away. Like, I'm sure it's still pretty busy up there, right?
Oh,
all the time.
It's
right?
shocking. Yes.
Right.
But that piece was taking up more space mentally than I realized. And so when it went away, I had more space to think about the things that actually moves the needle. Worrying about if I'm in the right direction doesn't actually help me as much as the other things are.
Yeah. Okay. Shortly after that, though, because you're being modest, shortly after that, though, you had an opportunity come up, and because of it, right?
Yep.
Tell us more about that. Yeah.
So here I am. I don't want to say little old me because I don't like describing myself like that, but
Little old me. You like that description?
no. I mean,
Someone walked into the event yesterday, or when you and Sarah both walked into the event, and he comes up to me, he's like, Sarah was supposed to be tall and Andrea was supposed to be short.
oh, that's hilarious.
I got it backwards. And I was like, yeah, right? Like break your brain a little bit.
Yeah,
Like,
because I'm
Sarah's
6
so
feet
short.
tall.
Yeah, and you're 6 feet. It's crazy.
It's
right?
wild.
It's awesome. But you standing next to Sarah's like,
It's really funny. It's
Yeah.
super funny.
yeah. Shout out Sarah.
Yeah.
All right.
So here I am. I'm someone that just puts my head down and works. And I was a goody two shoes in school. Like I love homework. I love teaching. I love people that I respect giving me advice on what to do and just saying, hey, do this. I will do it. So I was just
You
kind of
would not have been friends in school.
absolutely not.
Not at all.
No.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, I would have been really annoyed by you in high school.
And I would have thought you were going to teach shoes.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, but that's kind of how I approach business too, though, is I just put my head down and I work and I don't think too hard about it. And I'm very motivated by excelling and recognition in an academic realm. And so,
like Amy Santiago on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Have you
yeah,
ever watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
yes. And that hurts me to say, but I think you're a little bit right.
Hey, we all like Amy Santiago. That's not that's a compliment, that's not a derogatory statement.
Yeah, but I think she's annoying, but that probably just shows you that there are elements of myself I'm annoyed by.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, that's true for all of us, though. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship, though, and getting around other people that are okay with recognizing that.
Exactly.
Right? Like, one of the most freeing things, I think, is getting around a group. That's why I like what we have with like Golden Mike Mastery so much of when we all come together. It's like we're all very aware of our flaws, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of can joke about them and all that. And also, we also are very aware of our strengths. And we can also kind of like, I don't want to be arrogant about it, but be like pretty confident in it. Right. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So here I am putting my head down, just working and starting to see some pretty incredible results really fast.
Yeah.
And I start posting about what I'm doing to genuinely help others because I can see other people are kind of trying to do the same thing I'm doing in the Airbnb space, but they weren't able to fill the gaps that I was able to fill just with my past skill. Yeah, just posting online. Yeah, posting online. And it got the attention of a big name in the Airbnb space. And so they reached out and they said, hey, I see you're doing really well. Can I talk to you? And I'm like, is this actually happening?
Yeah.
Like, actually, how is this happening? And I said, sure. Okay. Because I have the mindset of, I mean, I like external recognition and I'm like, okay, this seems valid. And even though I didn't believe it at first, I thought, you know what, this could be a way for me to help a lot of people. And so I don't even know what they're asking, but long story short,
I'll entertain the idea.
Yeah, I'll entertain the idea. And it was a huge, you could say once in a lifetime opportunity, but I don't actually believe that. I think there's actually a lot of opportunities like that. We just can't see them or we don't put ourselves in a place to see them or get them.
Yep.
But this huge opportunity came because of the hard work that I had put in and my genuine desire to help people.
Yeah. And it is a big opportunity. It's probably I mean, depending upon how it plays out, I know you can't talk about details of it or whatever, but like it's, I mean, for sure, like probably top 5 of biggest deals that a client it potentially turned into, inside of it. And what was that like for you? Because like,
it was terrifying.
It was terrifying.
Oh,
interesting.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So pause, rewind a couple years ago, if that, you were like, I have no clue where the direction of the business is. Right.
Oh,
like,
I was doing a completely different thing.
Right.
Yes.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know I've got a skill, and then you're like, no models work. And then you find Golden Mike and you go like that one. And then you start going down it and you go, and by the way, yes, 4 or 5 clients or whatever it was that you said, but that was like, you went from nothing, like no
literally
clients,
nothing,
no audience. You had no following. You had like nothing at all.
Literally nothing.
Right. Like a few thousand friends on Facebook. Right.
Yep.
To that. And then 2 months later after that, or a couple months after that, we have this.
Yes.
Right. That's a pretty rapid transformation. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So how was it what was it like in that moment? You said terrifying, pick up there. Right.
So it was terrifying because my prayer was actually answered. When I started the business, I wasn't praying for money. I was praying to meet the people that could help me hit my goals. That's what I started praying for. And so when this happened, I thought, holy crap, God's listening and he thinks I'm ready for this. And I don't know if I am. That's where my brain went. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, okay, you know what? I think I actually am. And even if it falls through, I'm going to do everything I can to make this move forward, because if it's in my lap, there's a reason it's there.
Mm. What was your first move? Like, how did you reach out? Like, how were you?
It was an email.
In an email.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was
So
an
you had
email. Yeah.
Where were you when you got it?
I was in my office, and I immediately texted Taggart, sent him a screenshot, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is happening.
Taggart's your husband.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was so pumped, so excited.
Yeah.
He's like, you've earned this.
Yeah.
Great. All of that. And I'm sitting there and I see this. At first, I don't believe it, because it was actually his team member messaged me and said, hey, so-and-so wants to meet with you. And I think, no, I'm just going to hop on a Zoom and it's going to be you. But that's fine too.
Yeah.
But no, eventually it took a few iterations, but eventually we got on Zoom and it was him. I thought,
wow.
oh, this is legit.
Wow, that's crazy. That's super. Okay, so then you text your husband and you're like, he's like, this is exciting. Then what's your move? Like, cause like I think that one of the big fears that people have sometimes is they're like, when you're like, I was terrified, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I think we are scared of success, and we're almost more scared of success than failure, because failure is familiar, right?
Yeah, I'm very familiar.
Right? It's like, it's making life-changing money in a transaction, which for me, like, I made $25,000 a year at my last job.
Yeah.
Like making $30,000 in a single transaction, that is life-changing money, right? It's like, that is like, I never feel richer. Like, I'm sure I'll do multi-million-dollar profit deals, right? But I don't know if I'll ever feel richer than that moment, right?
Right.
But I think the reason that most people are afraid to go pursue that, or they listen to this and go, that's great for you, Andrea. I'm glad you could do that, but I don't know, is they don't know what it looks like. Like, it's like literally, like if you were to go and be like, Josh, you have the opportunity right now to go close $1 billion like real estate deal on something or whatever. Like, I would be terrified, not because I'm afraid of that number, but because I'm like, what if I miss a piece of paper and I'm screwed? Or like, what if does that make sense?
Yes.
So like, in the moment, did you know what to do? What was your move? Like, walk us through that process over the next, I don't know, couple of days.
Yeah. So when I got the email, it was the initial excitement / terrifying aspect of it, of kind of peak emotion. And initially when I got the email, and
I bet.
and it's interesting, my old brain would have wanted to respond right away in kind of like a frantic state. And I've been trained, and I know that's not helpful to do that. And so I actually paused for a while. And I told myself, okay, I need to be really intentional with how I respond to this, because this is going to shape, if we work together, this is going to shape the relationship, our working relationship, for the rest. So I need to show up powerfully.
Yeah.
And you and Katie and other mentors have shown me how to do that. And so in that moment, I had to decide, okay, very early on, this is crazy, but in that moment, I had to decide, do I need this deal or not? And I had to decide in that moment, you know what? I actually don't need this deal. I really, really want it, but I don't need it. And that helped me start really effectively communicating with them, because I wasn't needy of it. I was excited. I was supportive of whatever was happening, but I was kind of in a data collection mode of, I don't know what this is yet. Yeah. And whatever it is, even if it's amazing and exciting, there's going to be more in the future. So I don't need to weigh everything. I don't need to weigh my life on this opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. How long before you responded? Because I know I got a text from you or a message from you, where it was. I don't know. How long was that? I guess I don't know. Do you remember?
That's a good question. I remember I responded to them probably, it was within the same day. So that all happened really fast.
Yeah.
So I responded within the same day, probably within a few hours, to book the call, learn more, data collection. And then I messaged you once I realized once I realized this was real and this was legit. I thought, okay, I'm going to need to know how to navigate this.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. Big time.
Appreciate
it. Wow. That's exciting. We'll have to come. Well, I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of in the moment, but would you say your life's changed?
100%.
Yeah.
Whether it happens or not, my life has already changed.
Yeah.
Because I know the possibility is there.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. It's wild, right?
Yeah.
It's like weird. Right. I remember when you came in, you were like, I don't know if I have what it takes. And I'm like, what? And then you're like, well, like opportunities, I don't know that many people, or like all of that. And then like you sign the first deal and you're like, oh my gosh, I see it. And then like the second and the third and then this one, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I'm like, but is it? And you're like, oh gosh, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that, the ahas all the way up. Right.
Yep.
That's really cool. And it's been really, really cool to see your growth. What has been the most, like, I want to actually talk about us working together, like you being actually a part of a client
Okay.
inside the program. What has been maybe some of the most unexpected things that you've experienced, either from it doesn't matter where you take that, just unexpected insight since working together?
I think it was unexpected, the level to which you understood what I was trying to communicate and ask questions for. You knew what I was trying to say in a way that helped me steer me in the right direction, focus on the highest ROI. So when I had questions about something, you understood the variables and what they meant, not only now, but in the future. You knew how to organize them in a way that I couldn't see because my head is in it all day.
Interesting. On a date, that's good. I'm glad. I've never been told
Yes,
that.
thank you.
That's good. That's good. On a day-to-day, has it affected your life on a day-to-day basis at all, as being in the program?
Yeah, because it changes how I think about my business. And I'm thinking about my business almost all the time. And so I know how to use my mental energy in a way that's productive to move the business forward.
That's cool. That's cool. What's next? Where are we going? Actually, let me ask you this. For the person that's sitting there right now that is like, this sounds great, right? Andrea, I'm glad that you knew Josh for 5 years, and I'm sure that you somehow had a secret, a wand that he waved and made it all happen for you. Right? But that's what we all think when we hear, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, for the person there that's sitting there going, okay, this sounds different, or I'm interested in not forget about the program. I want, like, if the actual concept of the Golden Mic, right? And I kind of have an unfair advantage because I'm the one that created the method, and like, I'm the only one that teaches it because it's that. But like, from that concept, what would you tell them now? Speak to your old self a year ago or 2 years ago. Imagine they're in that spot, right? Going, is this something that I can count on as worth pursuing? Like, what would be your message to them if they're trying to make a decision about this?
I think I would say that, I might get emotional, that you're more powerful than you know, and you have more skill sets and more potential than you could ever realize. And what you need is not more stuff. It's actually not more talent. It's already there. You just need to know how to tap into it in a way that's organized and focused on the highest ROI tasks, and that fits the parameters that you have set. Your parameters are not going to be my parameters, but you have really, really important specific things in your life. And other business models and methods, they don't always take that into account. They just say, hey, do this, 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 and this, and you will get this. But sometimes that doesn't work because life happens. The Golden Mic, it helps you arrange all of the variables in your business so it fits your life, and it helps you evolve over time. And so what I would tell myself and anyone listening who is skeptical, I mean, if I was listening to myself right now a while ago, I know what you're saying. Yes. And what I would truly say is the Golden Mic evolves with you and your business, you as a human being, and your business as it grows. It teaches you how to, you could say pivot, but I don't know if that's the right word. It steers you in the direction that's going to help you literally change your life.
That's good. Yes, it does. It grows and evolves with you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
I think that was very, very powerful. That's good. Let's talk about the future, though. Okay. Where are you going? Man, how old are you?
29.
29. You got a bright future, right? You got a lot of things on your plate. You got a lot of opportunities. I think that we all have a superpower. We all have an advantage, right? Some people's are more external. Some people's are more internal, right? But we all have one, right? You have one, and you're leveraging it. You're utilizing it. Tell us, like, now in the future, you got a podcast. You've got, what does the future look like for you? What's next? What are you building?
What time frame?
You get to decide. I don't know.
Like,
paint me a vision. What do you want people to know? Like, I guess maybe this is the question. What message do you want to share with people, and how does the future that you're building support that?
So growing up, there was this phrase that we used in my family. It was called having a plan in which to deviate. And so that I have used in my life, my entire life.
That statement hurt my brain. Say that again.
Having a plan in which to deviate. So you have your goal, your target, and you have a plan to get there, but the plan doesn't matter if it changes. As long as you're anchored into what you're building, then the plan can deviate, but it's still going in the same direction.
Okay. That's so good. Is it the same as, this is how my brain works on it. I would always tell my mom, I've been like, you can choose your path or you can choose your destination. You can't choose both.
Correct.
Right? So it's like, if you pick your destination, you have to have a plan, but it will change, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're like that concept?
Yeah.
Okay. Got
that
it.
concept.
Yep.
So the anchor, the target that Taggart and I, we love dreaming and creating and having a vision. And so that target is both of us being really excited, passionate about what we're working towards. We have the nice house. I go to bougie grocery stores and homeschool kids and all of that. How that happens can change. And so when someone asks me, where are you going to be in a year or 2 years? I actually don't know. And I'm okay with that. And Taggart's okay with that. And I feel really lucky that I'm married to someone that gets it and is on board with that. And when we were first married, he was way more entrepreneurial minded than I was.
Interesting.
We got married and I was like, what does your brain do? I just couldn't comprehend the level of creativity and passion and drive. I had those elements, but in a very structured academic way, because that's what I was good at. And so when we got married and came together, at first I thought like, whoa, what's going on here? But then over time, I could see how advantageous it was to think like that.
Yeah.
And so as we've worked together and created goals, we've actually, it's crazy. We've hit all of our goals that we've made because we've been married for 7 years, which is amazing. Almost eight, which is really exciting.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
you got me beat there. Hey. All right.
And so it's been so fun creating a vision or a North Star of where we want to go. And how that changes is literally, I wouldn't say on the daily, but on a monthly or yearly basis. We've been married for almost 8 years and we've moved 7 times.
Wow.
I know people look at it and think it's crazy, but recently we both took personality tests, the ENFJ, all of the Myers-Briggs, I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah.
And I looked up, how do these personalities work together in a marriage? And it was so insightful. And
where are you? Do you know?
I think I'm an ENFJ.
ENFJ. Okay. That actually, that tracks.
Yeah.
Is he an I?
He's almost exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
I think he's INTP. I could be totally wrong.
Okay. But he's definitely an I.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And so what's really cool is one of the characteristics of when these two personalities come together is this element of wanting to shake things up. And so us coming together means we shake things up a lot. And it looks totally crazy from an outside perspective, but it's so fun and it inspires so much growth.
Yeah.
Us shaking things up is a catalyst for us to become who we want to be. And so when we look at what do we want in the future, it's actually very clear. Environmentally, what we want, and internally, what we want. But the steps to get there, we know are going to change, and we're okay with that, and we actually thrive off of that.
Yeah. I think when you say that the plan changes, maybe almost monthly or, weekly or monthly
that
or
sounds
quarterly.
wrong.
But perhaps I would say that maybe it gets more clear.
Yes.
Right?
And you can see the opportunities better that help you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if you can see the top of a mountain and you can see that there's a path,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's like, okay, that's what it looks like. But then like you start going off the path and you're like, you're still on the same path, but you realize it's much more rocky over here, much more, this. It's like the path becomes more clear and reveals itself. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you're always in motion, you know whether you need to leave that path or not.
Yeah.
If you don't move, then you don't know.
100%. Right.
Yeah.
I think that's why the most important thing is you got to go. Right.
Yes. 100%.
Gotta take action, you got to move.
Mhm.
And, when everyone's like, life isn't a straight line, it's like this.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, it's kind of a straight line though. It's just like, you didn't know what the straight line was.
Right.
Right. It didn't feel like a straight line. But if I like look back and I'm like going back to old me till now, I'm like, in the moment, it felt very chaotic and all over the
for
place,
sure.
Right.
Yes.
But it's like, it's kind of a straight line though.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's my life. It's only one line. Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think, has a golden mic help with that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
How so?
Because the golden mic, it has the perfect amount of structure and flexibility. It's a plan in which to deviate. The principles are there. The tactics can change. They usually don't change that much, but they can. And so it fits my brain parameter of liking to have a plan, but it's open to change.
Yeah. And I don't know how to explain it to someone that's never experienced it. Right. It's like, it's really like when people are like, oh, you do podcasts. I'm like,
no, that's not it though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Right? People are like, but Josh, you do have a podcast. And I'm like, yes. And they're like, and you do teach people to launch podcasts. And I'm like, yes.
Technically,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
But that's too simple.
Right. It would be like, well, you have, like, Josh, you have a body and you have 2 eyes and 2 ears. Right. And I'm like, yes. And it's like, so you must be a woman. And it's like, well, no, definitely not. Right. You could be something else.
Mhm.
Right. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I think it's cool to watch others. Like, I want to help people win. for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't, like, when I hear podcasts, people on interviews and stuff, and they're like, I just love helping people win. I'm like, okay, that just sounds cheesy. And I think you're just trying to get me, like, almost like you're a hype man and you don't have anything more of any substance to say, right?
Mhm.
Almost just, you
Yep.
ever listen to interviews like that?
Yep.
Right? It's like, I kind of want to help people win for selfish reasons, right? Because I don't want to feel like a piece of crap about my life, right? Does that make sense though?
Yeah.
And I think some people hear that and they're like, so you like don't really care about people? And I'm like, no, not really. I mean, I do deeply,
Mhm.
but like I care about them because Jesus told me to care about them and like all that.
Mhm.
But I care about them because if they're not winning, then what I'm doing isn't working,
Mhm.
right? And it's like them winning is like not like, oh, I win because they win. Yes, but not in the cliche way of like, oh yeah, we're all going to win together. I'm like, no, I want to win, and I want to win no matter what. And I know that what is required to win means something has to work. It has to be repeatable and has to be predictable, and you have to be leverageable, and you have to be the best. They have to commit and master it, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, so there's if something works that well, there's going to be fruit,
Mhm.
right? And the reason, I I love all our clients, and I love everyone we work with. But I think the coolest thing about the Golden Mic is to watch something that has been your brain has my brain has worked on it for so long, right? And like and when everyone would tell me like this is how you're gonna do it, or this is how you should do it, I'm like, I don't know why you're wrong, but you definitely are,
Mhm.
right? And then it start to work. And I feel like what you've been able to do with yours is you've almost found that thing for you that your
Mhm.
brain has started to work on.
Yeah.
Does it feel like that for you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and so I know you have a podcast that is, what's it called?
The Road Less Chosen.
The Road, which perfectly matches. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So what is that, that big picture, or what's that thing for you? The thing that your brain's working on right now, right? Where you're like, I'm trying to figure this out. And maybe you don't even have it fully clear yet, right? Because I'm like, I know you have it because otherwise you wouldn't be moving forward.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes, but explain more.
What's the thing that you're committed to mastering right now?
Ooh, that's a good question. In my business, it's committing to mastering how to drive the most bookings possible in any Airbnb property in my business.
Yeah. Okay. And what you said earlier was, I love hospitality and I love data and I love marketing and it's like that is those three things together, right?
Perfectly combined.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Because when a lot of people hear that, they might be like, oh, so like setting up a listing or description or like, right. You're
No.
like, yeah.
It's so much more than
yes.
this.
Okay, kindergartner, right? Like, no, it's much like it's like
It's all
almost like
encompassing.
it's almost like a worldview.
Yes.
Like, it's like a lens,
Yes.
right? Upon which you view how things operate, right?
Yep.
And specifically in your world.
Yep. And
Yep.
it ties into this road less chosen concept, because in marketing, you have to stand out and be different.
Yeah.
And in a way that's aligned with who you are and
Yep.
what in the goals you're trying to do.
Yep.
And in Airbnb with properties, it's the same exact thing. You have to take a road less chosen with your listings, with your property, with how you furnish, with how you communicate.
Yep.
It has to be different.
Yeah. Yeah.
By using data too, by following the
using
data.
which is so annoying. It's the worst thing ever. But now I'm like, I've started to like data and math and like Brad, what have you done to me? But okay, Andrea, thank you for coming on and for sharing your story. Where can people find out more about you if they want to go look you up, or I don't know what else people do on the internet? So yes, where they
Facebook,
can find you. Find out about you.
Facebook, Instagram, Andrea Befus, Befus.
Okay, we will link it down below. Thank you for your time. Any last message to people that are where you were a year ago?
Like, you've got this. Just keep moving. I can't emphasize enough. Taking too long to make decisions will keep you in the same place forever. So just make a decision, move, and then if you need to deviate, then deviate.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Andrea, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Tell your husband thank you for giving us your presence and your time for a couple of days here. It's been fun. So thank you so much. And guys, with that, go follow Andrea, go connect with her, ask her questions. I'm sure she will answer them. She's actually really nice. She actually really is like nice in person, right? I can vouch for it. Thank you for watching. As always, hustle, hustle. Oh, no, wait. I forgot what our new one is. I forgot what it is. You know what it is. I'm way too tired for this. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.